Hey guys, Leanne here from Avoiding Broke. I'm so pleased you've joined me on this Sunday for our podcast episode. So you've had 2 weeks of Jermaine doing the podcast and now I'm back. I promise you that we will start doing them together again. But at the minute, I think we just have things that we each are interested in, that we're both talking about. And really, we discuss so much during the week that actually this is a good reflection of the stuff that we're talking about. But we will come back together soon. So before we begin, I really hope you've had a great week, that you're all well, healthy, safe, and so I hope that continues. So what I really wanted to talk to you about today is the future. And that may seem a bit of an odd topic to be talking about, but I think actually it's one of the things that we've been discussing recently that actually is really helping me crystallize my thoughts and what I'm thinking and also planning. Like you always hear people talk about, plan for the future, but if you don't have a good idea about what you think that future is, then how do you plan for it? And so there are two things actually that I wanted to cover in here and how thinking about the future can really help you. So the first one is setting your goals. For me, I would want to cast my mind forward however long you want to, whether that's 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, if you're thinking about your retirement plans or anything like that. You can cast your mind forward that time and think, where do I want to be at that point in time? And then start making decisions based on that in terms of your goals and what you want to achieve. Is it that you want to have had your house paid off? Is it that you want to buy a house? Is it that you actually don't want to be living where you are right now and you want to move to a different country? Whatever those things are, if you think about actually what you want to do in the future, that can really help you set your goals for now. Because once you know what you want in the future, then you think back and you think about all the different steps that are going to help you get there. So I did a podcast, it feels like quite a while ago now, on how to set big goals. And one of the things that I said there was you just keep asking yourself, why, until you get to actually your ultimate why. But another way of doing it is this point about casting your mind forward however long you want to go and thinking about what do you want to have at that point in time. And then you work backwards and you start thinking, how am I going to get that? So you want to have paid off your house. How am I going to get that? I need a pot of money of X pounds to do that. Okay, so how am I going to do that? So you keep asking yourself how and breaking it down into little steps until you get there. But you've only managed to do that because you've thought about the future that you want. And then you think about how you're going to get there. So that's one way that I think thinking about the future really helps. The other thing I think it really helps you with is when you're looking and thinking about investing. So what do I mean by this? There are so many ways that you can go about investing. You can think about companies that you think are going to do well. You can think about, this is doing really well at the minute, so I'm going to invest in there. This has got lots of hype at the minute, so there must be something going on there, I'm going to do that. But actually, wouldn't it be a lot easier if you had a vision of what you thought the future looked like, and therefore you could invest based on that vision of the future that you have? And what I mean by this is, if you have a vision of the future, and you could do research to help you think what that vision of the future is going to be like, but if you thought to yourself, I think that actually in the future we are all going to drive electric cars. That's quite a simple example that I can come up with, but I don't want to go too far down this journey with you, because I think actually this is a very personal thing. So I just want to give you a few examples to help you kind of think about what you think the future looks like. So like I said, for example, if we think that the world is everyone's going to drive electric cars in 20 years time, there's not going to be any diesel or petrol cars, again, just an example, then you may start thinking, okay, who's investing in electric cars at the minute? Who are the biggest players in this? It kind of gives you a focus on what you are looking for and where you can do your research. The other way it really helps you is that if you read, say, an article that says, the top 10 companies to invest in 2021, then actually how do you choose which ones of those that you want to invest in, if you want to invest in any of them? Really, you could be thinking, okay, so my vision of the future looks like this, and this company actually fits with my vision of the future, so that's where I'm going to go. And of course, nobody knows what the future is. I'm not suggesting that we all know what the future is, but investing is a gamble. It always is. It has risks. Things go up as well as down, and some things take off, some things don't. And we've seen that throughout history. But really, if you want to give yourself not the best chance, that's not the right word that I'm looking for, but if you want to think and have some reasoning behind a lot of your investments, then one of the ways that you can do that is by thinking about what you think the future is going to look like. And there are lots of papers out there and research, and people are talking about it all the time, what the future looks like and where things are moving to and what we may see in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years time. But I just think that by doing your own research, by coming up with your own vision of what the future looks like, then you really can start having a framework or a mechanism that you have personally that will help you make these tough decisions. And of course, we know investing is always risky, like I said before, and there's no sure thing when it comes to investments, and as we've seen, stock markets go up and down. But really, if you want to have some vision or some way of helping you to navigate what you're looking at or what you may see in the future or who you think is going to do well in the future, then you can't do that unless you have your own vision of what the future looks like. So that, I think, is what I just wanted to share with you this week, is that we hear a lot about, think about your future, think about your future. And we may have thought about it previously about things like, planning for retirement, or, when you're at school and people say to me, think about what you want to be when you grow up, and that's your future, and that helps you choose your subjects or your degree subjects, your GCSE subjects, all of those kind of things, whether you do an apprenticeship or not. So it's one of those skills, I think, that we're almost, people are almost trying to teach us this skill when we're younger. We may not see it at the time, but I think it's such an important skill to have kind of throughout the things you do. And I've just picked up 2 things here in terms of investing and also setting your goals for yourself, how looking at the future can help. But there are going to be plenty others, and you're going to think of others for yourself. And if you do have any others, then put them in the comments, because I'd love to hear about them. And so, yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you this week. Just some thinking that I've been doing on this subject, and I hope you're all well. Thank you so much for joining me this week. I hope you found it useful, and we'll definitely speak to you again next week. And until then, you guys take care. If you want to subscribe to our channel, subscribe, hit the like button, but otherwise I will speak to you again next week. You guys take care. Have a fantastic week. Bye guys.